Hey everybody, it's Game Jam Day here for the Pound Wars competition, and here is the box ready to be opened. We've got a few minutes yet before that's going to happen, but I wanted to do a quick video before this gets started to explain my strategy. Last time we did this, I did it in 12 hours, mainly because of my age. I didn't want to be staying up all night. Something different has happened this year. I've ended up in a situation where my wife has been in the ER. I'm exhausted. I don't really have a lot of energy, and I don't want to be here all day. I can't be here all day because my wife needs me at home. She's still recovering. So I am going to do what I did with this. So this is a game that I made recently. And it was designed in 20 minutes with my friend Frank Giddens and another individual who actually used to run VisionCon here in Springfield. And as you can see, this is tic-tac-toe, but what makes this game unique is that the actual cards are monsters. And it's essentially, the best way to think about this game is it's basically like Stratego, you know, because obviously the blue team has cards that are worth certain points, but the red team does as well. And, you know, the idea is you battle it out for the squares, but you're not just trying to make standard squares. And I did a previous video about this where we actually designed it. Each player will be given a number of cards. So this one, this player has to make 3 in a row in a diagonal shape. This one has to make this shape. And so there's lots of different shapes that you can make. So it's impossible for your opponent to know which one you're trying to do. But you know, the point is this thing was designed in 20 minutes. So I've probably got 4 to 6 hours today. Like I said, I'm very tired. Wife needs me at home. So I'm still going to participate in the game jam, and I'm still going to participate in it, you know, full-heartedly. But this time around, when we open this box, it's going to be a much shorter time span. So this is the first video. I'm gonna, you know, there's going to be another one after this, obviously, where we show what happens when we unbox it. But anyway, that's kind of the strategy going in this year. As you can probably hear from me, I can't even put my words together. I'm really tired, but I'm still confident that I can design a nifty game because we did the other one in 20 minutes, so it can be done. So let's see what happens. Okay, so we just opened the box, and this is what the contents were of the mystery components. So I'm not even really sure how to refer to some of these. Like, these are obvious. These are like lightning bolts, and then we've got a gear here. These almost look like some things that you would use in construction, like washers or something. Anyway, then we got some green tokens here. These are like little houses, I believe. You know, houses. Lightning bolts, you do a storm chasing game, and then these red sticks. I'm not really sure what these sticks are for, and then you got a bunch of square cards as well. That might save me having to print stuff out using Component Studio, which is what I was originally planning to. So I'm going to spend the first hour just figuring out what to do, and we will see where we go from there. Okay, quick update. So it's about an hour into the competition, and I figured out what I'm going to do. I'm going to make a game called, and this is a tentative title, Damage Path. I might be better titles, but essentially it's a tornado. You play a tornado, you're trying to make as long a damage path as possible whilst racking up those elements that we saw earlier on. So lightning damage, you know, house damage, pole damage, tree damage. And the system is built very similar to something called Play Your Cards Right. So these, as you can see, 4, 8, king, 6, queen, jack. It's basically based on a standard set of cards. And the way that it works, I'm going to give you a quick demo of how this would look, is essentially you're going to have all your cards shuffled. This is just a deck. I'm probably going to have 3 decks in the actual final game. But the idea is we'll give these a quick shuffle and I'll show you what I'm doing. So let's get this together here real quick. So you're a tornado. Each of these cards counts for 10 miles of damage path, and I'll have to figure out, you know, the scoring situation later on. And then you have your starter card. So in this case, it's a 2. And you'll simply have to make a decision. Can I go higher or can I go lower? So in this case, I'm pretty confident I can go higher. There'll be a number of resources on this card that I can bet So maybe I want to bet like, 2 houses on this and maybe some damage. It'll be limited per card. And then I see what the next card is. And actually 2 is the lowest, so it's guaranteed it's going to be higher. So now my damage path is 20 miles. Okay, now I can bet again, but if I bet anything and it goes wrong, I'll lose it. And 7's kind of in the middle. So what you can do is you can just say, I'm going to hold, I'm going to end my turn there. Then the next player goes, they get their starting card, which is a 5. Anytime you get a starting card, you can change it out if you want, just that one time. So I'm going to do that. It's a 3 now, so that's much better. So I'm going to go higher, and I'd probably bet, a whole bunch of stuff on that one. Let's move all this up a little bit. There we go. So then we get our next card, and that's a king. Again, I'd be quite happy to bet quite a lot that it's going to be lower than a king. It's a 10. And, if you get to a point where you get it wrong, then whatever you bet, you lose, and that's the end of your damage path. However, if this person finishes their go and it goes back to this player, and they can start again, we can say, right, would you like to start with a 7, or do you want to switch it out? I'd like to switch it out. Oh, well, it's an 8. Not much better, but in this case, I'm going to go lower. And it's a queen, so whatever I bet I wouldn't get, and that's the end of my damage path. So basically I got 30 miles. This player got 30 miles. And we'll score those up. We'll score those up with the damage that you get. And then once you reach the end of the 3 cards, the 3 decks, you have a winner. And so I think that will work really nice. So that is going to be Storm Damage or Storm Track or something like that. I haven't figured out the name. I'm still trying to figure out what to do with these guys, but I might use those to represent the storm strength, because I think we might increase it, EF0, EF1, EF2. And then the other thing is I'm not sure what to do with the gear, but I will find a use for that. Obviously, there's only one of these, so we'll have to think carefully about that. But that's the gist of the game. We're only an hour into the competition, so I'm pretty happy. I've got my idea locked down, and now I can go ahead and start prototyping. Okay, well, the game is finished, and we're just over 2 hours. Little over 2 hours from the beginning of the competition, so I'm very pleased with that. These are the cards. So essentially you have your starter cards, which I mentioned earlier on. So let's say your starter card comes out as a king. Well, that's good, because it's going to be lower than that. And then in the deck you pick your next card. So let's say it turns out to be this one. Okay, well, this is a possibility of EF5 damage with damage to houses and concrete materials, but you can't actually do anything until your tornado gets to an EF5. Right now, our tornado, I have to make a new card for it, is basically the low end tornado. So all we can do is decide where we want to go from 8. We can't actually bet anything on this. Or we could just hold. So for fun, let's just move on. So let's say it's going to be lower. So what do we get here? Okay, then we get 5. All right, so what can we do? We've got Storm Intensifies. So at this point, I could either have my Storm Intensifier or I can bet some damage. Well, having the Storm Intensifier is a good idea, but it doesn't mean anything if the next card ends up being something that you get wrong. So I'm just going to go ahead and bet some damage on this one. So maybe I'll put on say there's going to be a power pole down, and maybe a tree down. And I won't go any further than that, and I'll say it's going to be higher. Next one comes out, it's a 10. Good, okay, so I've got those. They stay on my storm track now, so I know I've definitely made that damage. This is, we're strong enough to do damage to a house now, so I'm going to go ahead and bet on a house. And don't want to bet too much, because 10 is still close to the middle, but it's most likely to be lower. Let's see what happens. Okay, and actually it's a jack now. A jack's higher. So what that means is this goes away, and our storm path ends there. So we had a storm path of 20, 40, 60 miles, and we did this damage. Then when it's our go again, we'll start another storm path, and that's essentially how the game works. Okay, it is 11:45, and we are exporting the final video for the game that we've made. So this is the game called Storm Track. When I fade this down, I'll just basically go into the video that I submitted officially to the competition, but we did it. The work today was started at noon when it kicked off, went till I think it was 2:30, something like that. I think I actually left at 3:30 because I created this player board. So I think I left at 3:30, and then I came back at 10:30, and I've been working for an hour. So I've not really had to put too much time in, but I've kept it under 6 hours like I planned to. But I had a nice big break during the day. But anyway, I'm really pleased. This is something I bought from a game. Well, it's for a game called Forbidden Desert. But I mean, heck, we're allowed to use components from other games, so why not? Storm Track is a two-player push-your-luck game where each player controls a tornadic thunderstorm. Your goal is to cause the most destruction while also creating the longest tornado damage path. To begin, each player draws a starting card. This is the moment your tornado spawns on its track. 50 more cards are then drawn and placed face down in a row, forming the storm track. On your turn, simply guess whether the next face down card will be higher or lower than the current card. The value is represented in the top left of each card. These values follow a standard deck, 2 through 10, with jacks, queens, kings, and aces. If you guess correctly, your tornado remains on the ground and you move to guessing the next card in the track. If you are wrong, then your tornado ropes out, your damage path ends, and play passes to your opponent. When play returns to you, draw a new starting card and begin a fresh tornado track. The longer the damage path, the higher you score. If a player does not want to guess the next card, they can cede their turn to the opposing player. In this event, they get to extend their damage path by one card for free, but the trade off is that the tornado lowers in strength. In addition to damage path lengths, points are also scored by damage types. Small tornadoes can only knock down power lines, but as your tornado grows stronger, you can knock down trees, do severe lightning damage, and even destroy homes. The very strongest tornado can destroy the concrete structure and immediately wins the game. Sometimes cards will offer a choice of either increasing the strength of your tornado or adding damage. Damage is caused by placing stored tornadic energy tokens against a set of damage indicators when trying to guess if the next card is higher or lower. If you are correct, you score all the damage that you committed and you mark this on your player board. If unsuccessful, you lose those velocity tokens. The game is scored when both storms reach the ends of their tracks or if both players run out of energy tokens, whichever is first.